What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Saber Reels. This is our Star Wars show on our little YouTube channel, Who Are They Real Entertainment. My name is Toby Barkwell, and with me once again, the one and only Colin Morris. How you doing, my friend?
Just happy to be here, Toby. Happy to be here, ready to talk some Star Wars. Wouldn't be a Saturday night without it.
Yeah, man, I am really excited for this week's show. Not a whole lot to talk about this week. We're not going to take up too much of your time. Really just want to talk about this week's episode of The Bad Batch. No news or speculation. We had a great time last week breaking down that poster. So if you haven't watched that episode, make sure you check it out. It is on the channel right now. But before we get into our episode of The Bad Batch breakdown, let's go ahead and start out with our week in Star Wars, what that looked like. That could be any new collectibles we've picked up. We've rewatched the movies, rewatched some episodes of Rebels or Clone Wars or Mandalorian or what have you. Really just an icebreaker to get the show started. I got nothing this week. I have not picked up any new collectibles in quite some time, and I've taken a little bit of a break on The Rising Storm, the latest High Republic novel that I've been reading the last month or so. So nothing new for me, but Colin, I know for a fact you got something new. So what you got?
Got something here. A new Funko Pop. I got Darth Maul holding the lightsaber and the dark saber. Little Chalice Collectibles exclusive. They're a little hard to see, with all the reflections and whatnot. Try to get a better view right there. This thing is sick. I love it. I love the dark saber as an aesthetic. I think it just looks so cool. It's like the coolest matte black thing in the world.
Right.
I'm absolutely obsessed with it. And then one other thing coming up next week is the FunkoCon exclusive drop of this Rey and the Imperial Commando from Star Wars Rebels. I'm very excited for the Imperial Commando Funko to complete my Rebels collection that I got going on behind me.
Yeah, we talked about that new release last week, and that Rey is something I definitely want to get because Force Awakens Rey, her outfit with the staff is like my favorite iteration of the character, and it's classic. Like Force Awakens is already a classic, even though it came out 5-6 years ago now.
Amazon exclusive, so you should have an easy time getting that one. It just won't have the convention sticker. But I love the base because I have this Rey right here. I got her.
Mm-hmm.
So, It's not much different from her. She's just holding the staff a little bit different, but it's got a cool base. There's a couple of the ones from, the Empire Strikes Back set where Luke and Yoda and Dagobah have, a green mossy bottom.
Yeah, I got that one behind me.
That one's sick. I love that one. That one's sick. And then I assume they're going to use the same base from the Obi-Wan Kenobi with pin set that just recently came out from Amazon as well. So I think it's cool. Kind of sick of these black bases. It's cool that they Star Wars is the only line that has every one of their Funkos is on a base that says Star Wars. So for them to start getting creative with it, I think is really cool. I would love to see, I have one of my favorite Funkos is my Dark Side Anakin, during the duel on Mustafar. And there is a Mustafar duel set, but I would like of Obi-Wan and Anakin is a movie moment. But if you have the individual ones of them on molten red rocks or the little hover droids that they stand on and circle around each other, that would be cool too.
That would be sick. And I have a feeling. We're only 4 years away from the 20th anniversary of the Revenge of the Sith, which sounds crazy to say out loud. And I know obviously Attack of the Clones is creeping up, and that's going to be around the time of Celebration. So I know we're going to be getting a lot of Attack of the Clones stuff because that's one that we've been missing.
Arguably the most fun. I've said this before on other podcasts. I saw the movie 11 times in theaters.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, my parents were getting divorced at the time, and I could just be like, "Anybody want to take me to the movies? I'm sick of being around these people." And they would be like, "Yes, 7-year-old Colin, we'll take you to the movies." And I'm pretty sure the most impressive part was I think I only repeated people that took me twice. I think that was the most impressive part. It was like, oh, I somehow got a different person to be like, yeah, I'll go see Star Wars with you. Probably because they were like, I haven't seen it yet. So yeah, I'll take this kid to see Star Wars.
No, I know
11
you're
times though.
11 times is crazy. I know you're a little bit older than me. So when Attack of the Clones came out, I was 5. And
Oh.
Attack of the Clones is the earliest memory I have of being in a movie theater.
That's 2002, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I would have been 8. Yeah,
Okay.
I would have been about 8 years old.
See, I was 8 when Revenge of the Sith came out. So I remember seeing that vividly. Like, I remember where I was. I remember the context. I had a baseball game that day, and my dad's like, hey, you're not going to your baseball game. And I was just crying. I was like, why? Why am I not going to my baseball game? I don't understand. Baseball? Like, I was so upset. He's like, no, we're going to go see Star Wars. I was like, oh, okay. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, fuck baseball.
Right? And my little brother fell asleep. So, and I never let him. I'm never going to let that go. He was, again, probably 5. So he was about the same age when I saw Attack of the Clones. So
that's fair.
But
no. What's something cool that you would like to see? What's like a deep cut Attack of the Clones thing that like, because you know Celebration's gonna be pulling out the exclusives. I'm gonna have to draw a new line of credit for the collectibles of Celebration, and I'm just curious if there's anything from that movie that sticks out to you. That's something that you'd like to see. Just to start it off, I love Count Dooku's ship. At the end, I would love something cool with that, like a ride, like a pop ride of him. Especially when it foils out and it looks almost like that the astronaut blanket material, you know, like that super crunchily aluminum foil, the solar foil,
right?
Something like that in a Funko, I think would look really cool because I have Luke and Leia on the speeders. And I think something like that kind of shape, but if you just built around it, I think it would.
That would be cool. I really like that. For me, I would like to see some form of Anakin during the Geonosis battle because he gets that green lightsaber because he loses his other one. Right. So Anakin with a green lightsaber just sounds really cool.
Yeah, I like that.
That would be cool. It would be English. It'd be easily like distinguishable from all the other Anakins, right?
And
all
suddenly it'd be like, Attack of the Clones slaps.
Right,
Anakin had a green lightsaber.
And casual fans would be like, Anakin never had a green lightsaber. That is fake. That is a fake Funko. It's like actually he did for a minute.
Imagine, yeah. But yeah, dude, that's gonna be exciting. I'm looking forward to that more and more. Like the ability to just like be there and like touch be able to like touch those products and just like be able to be there for them. I think it's so cool, and I would not be able to like FOMO it through people online because that's what it's been.
And I'm curious what Lucasfilm is gonna do, or not really Lucasfilm, but Hasbro, because the Phantom Menace retro stuff that they did was really, really sick. Like they had the retro packaging. It was in Black Series, so it wasn't like 3/4 scale like it used to be. It was 6-inch figures. Right. And they had the retro packaging, and they had them like at Best Buy. They had the Qui-Gon was exclusive to Best Buy. And so I wonder if they're going to do like the Attack of the Clones packaging with the Black Series, or if they're going to do something different. Because I really like what they did with the Phantom Menace, but I don't know if I would be as enticed to just get Attack of the Clones figures that we just got last year. You know what I mean? We got Anakin from Attack of the Clones in Black Series. We got Obi-Wan. And so I don't want to see those get re-released again. I hope they do something a little bit different, but that remains to be seen. Again, right around the corner before we get to Celebration and all that stuff really starts to get released. And we're going to talk about it every single week because I am excited about Celebration. But with that, we are going to go ahead and move on into our discussion of this week's episode of The Bad Batch, episode 14, titled War-Mantle. And oh boy, things are starting to get real, Colin. Last week was a little bit of a dud. We talked about that last week, how it wasn't our favorite, but we didn't hate it either. Just kind of one of those, kind of filler episodes, right? I mean, I'm sure we'll see some of those things pop up in the future from that episode, characters, plot lines, what have you. But this week's episode, we are really starting to get into the finale of the show and of this season. And we open up right away. We see a clone trooper, we don't know who it is at the time, running away. And let's just get this out of the way now. I've been loud wrong about this Camino uprising this entire season. I really, really thought we were going to go to Camino and we were going to see this uprising, but it seems like they are already moving the troops out of there. The Empire is done with Camino, and we're starting to kind of get an idea of this.
Okay,
transition.
hold on, Toby. I'm not gonna stand for this like self shaming. All right, you're still right. Like this, they're all there. All the clones are there. This is like, I believe this is where it's going to happen, but I don't think it's going to go well.
Right? Yeah. I guess I had it built up in my head that we were eventually going to go back to Camino and we were going to free the clones.
No, we just went there to murder Lama Su in cold blood.
Right? Yeah. Rest in peace, Lama Su. That was
cheers to Lama Su.
Yeah,
that guy was a real one. Pour one out. I mean, that dude he's been in our lives for almost 20 years, as we were just talking about with the release of Attack of the Clones. You made it this far, bud. But yeah, this new Admiral's a real piece of work.
For real. And we're really starting to see, like I said, about what Project War-Mantle really is. And we start out with this clone running away. We don't know who it is at the time. And I will give myself credit here, and I swear I'm not lying. But when we end up making it to this Imperial base and we see the commandos, I knew immediately that it was Gregor. Like, immediately. I see those commandos. I'm like, runaway clone. Like, oh, yep, that's my guy. And sure enough, it was Gregor. We finally got Gregor into the show.
Yes!
About time, right? We've been talking about this since the show started. Like, when are we going to see Gregor? When are we going to see Wolf? Rex has obviously got to eventually rescue them, right? Because of Rebels and everything. And took most of the season, but we finally have found Gregor, and I'm very happy about it. Now we just got to wait for Wolf, and I'm sure that'll probably be at the very end of season 2 if, things are kind of the way that they go. But anyway, Colin, what overall thoughts on this episode first, and then anything specific that really stood out to you?
Oh, yeah, we just got to start off at the top. Let's go right off the top with the funniest exchange of the entire show to date of Echo saying, well, if we don't make any money, we can't eat. Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And Omega's like, well, if we don't help them, then how are we, then how are they gonna be saved? Oh, that's a good point too. Like, the comedic timing is so on point right now with Wrecker that it's heavy, but it's necessary for him to be able to come in there and the toughest dude. He's really embraced the Drac stereotype and kind of built upon that, and I'm a big fan of it. And I love the appearance of Rex. That Rex shows up. We don't know what Rex is doing. What do you think Rex is doing?
Well, last time we saw him, we knew he had other things he needed to do. He's obviously working for some other people. He didn't take very much of a vacation once the Republic kind of went away. He just immediately got back into the fight. And I mean, he seems to be in some trouble because he did one of those can't talk right now. Here's my coordinates, or my buddy's coordinates, right?
Which ended up just being a tracking beacon on a tree. Like, wasn't even like coordinates to like a base. Ended up just being like, yo, this is his tracking beacon. Like, okay, cool. I'm with Hunter this entire episode. Like, we got to get out. And how ironic is it? Skip to the end of the episode that the one dude that has been sitting there the entire episode, like, we shouldn't be here. This isn't a good idea. He ends up being the one that gets left behind. Like, come on, guys, come on.
And it's very, very similar to the end of the first season of Rebels, because Kanan gets kidnapped.
Yes,
at the very end of that season. So again, these Star Wars parallels that we're always seeing, and I think it made sense for one of them to not make it out of there alive. It just again adds to the stakes for these last 2 episodes. But you mentioned funny lines. My favorite line by far in this episode, and one of my favorite of the season, is when Omega's piloting the ship and Tech makes it back on the ship, and he's just like, that is sufficient. I was just like, that's the perfect word to use. I can't get him any closer.
But she's driving that thing. Like, she's piloting the hell out of that thing, and she got it damn close. She got it close. He's like, all right, I'm gonna take her from here. Like, it's cool. Like, I got this. Like, she's gonna be lethal, like, if they get her out there in the field and we see like Omega like 15 years from now, 20 years from now,
And I will say, speaking of Omega, she really has taken a little bit of a back seat these last few episodes, which I think is a good thing because we were very Omega focused the
Yep.
first half of the season, learning about her and seeing her character development along with the
Very
rest
much
of the Bad Batch.
Mandalorian season 1 with Grogu.
Yeah,
And now the back half of the seasons were like season 2, where they're allowing us to explore these other characters. They're not like they right like they gave her the whole episode basically on the side where she's sitting there like hustling the dudes in the bar, and they're off on a mission without her. But like you don't, she doesn't really grow. She just somehow pays off their debts by by playing space chess. Just I enjoy the that aspect that they're not like how much of season 1 of Clone Wars was like, oh no, this is the Ahsoka show, bro. And this is not the Omega show. This is the Bad Batch show. And I think that's something to, celebrate about the people making this, is that they've somehow found a way to make it not about her when they definitely could have just made this a show about her.
yeah, and I think that's effective because I was recklessly speculating a couple weeks ago about how I didn't think we would see Gregor and Wolf in this show because they didn't have anything to do with Omega, right? And it seemed to me like this show was very just Omega heavy. We got to learn about Omega and spend time with Omega. And if we brought in, Gregor and Wolf, it would kind of upset that flow, right? But now we're seeing with the Ryloth couple episodes, and then now here that we can take a back, or Omega can take a back seat, and we can get away from her storyline for a little while, and it doesn't change our relationship with her, how we feel about her, because there are other important things that this show needs to get into, and that's exactly where we are right now, right? We're already seeing, we saw stormtroopers for the first time. They're not like exactly the stormtroopers that we know and love from the original trilogy. That's a very old school design, very Ralph McQuarrie influenced.
Yeah, but also fuck them for just stealing the Republic Commando armor.
Right.
Literally the armor from the games. I have the Funko Pop on pre-order, and I was like, are his eyes lit up?
Right.
I was like, can they do that? Like, what do you mean?
I mean, we've seen Republic Commandos before. Very little.
And why did their lights turn off? His head, when he got hit, the light turned off. Like, does it know he's asleep? Like, I've always wondered that. This is just like a Star Wars nitpick. He gets it should have its own central power unit as the helmet. That would feel like really terrible design if somehow it was like Iron Man's helmet. Imagine if Iron Man couldn't use his helmet unless it was connected to the rest. Like, that would just be dumb. Like, obviously, you should be able to use it separately. And my dude gets hit in the head, and then the light goes out. I'm like, oh, well, he's obviously not getting up. The light on his helmet went out. Like, he's down.
Right.
But I love those. That's probably, like, Matt's been bugging me for literally the last year since I've met him to build a suit of armor. And if I told him if I would, it'd be a Republic Commando armor, because those dudes are the bomb.
They're so sick.
And if they water down the Republic Commandos, those better be clones. They better not be some white boy from Tatooine in a Republic Commando.
Well, I thought the episode made it clear that the Empire recruited these Republic Commandos to come train these new recruits.
So that was a clone leading those guys.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I'm cool with that.
So, because we see, it was again kind of surprising to me when they infiltrate this base and Tekken's trying to get them out, and he's reading on the data pad that there's TK troopers, and I was like, oh my god, TK troopers, those are stormtroopers, right? And so we're there. We finally have gotten to this point where stormtroopers are now going to become the main, army of the Empire, and clones are starting to get fizzled out. Like we mentioned at the top of the show, that the clones are getting taken off of Camino. The contract has been ripped up. Kaminoans have no longer to do with any clone production whatsoever. And so the clones' last command really is train these new recruits, and then we're kind of done with you. And Gregor immediately is like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not training these guys. And I thought it was hilarious too that
love his accent.
Yeah, his accent is great. It's so good.
He's so like it's a little Rorschach-y. It's like he's like the end is nigh. Like he could definitely be the herald of Galactus. Like he's the one that's like, this is bad. This is not good. Like he's got a little like
It's got a little high
voice.
pitched. Yeah, like
Yeah.
D. Bradley Baker's such a genius to where he is playing virtually the same character but has a unique
Are there
voice for every
awards we
single
could
one.
just make up for him
Please,
every year? Because
please.
the dude just like he's in every show you watch if it's animated. Like I'm honestly surprised he wasn't in He-Man.
Right?
He wasn't in Masters of the Universe. How did they make that and not have anything for him to do?
I'm also pretty sure that he voiced the kid clones in the episode too.
Yes, he does.
Yes, so the guy he does the whole show. Like every single voice is him. It's so crazy. But what I was gonna say was that Gregor was talking about how he didn't train these new recruits, on everything. He didn't tell them everything. And someone made a joke on Twitter where like, is Gregor responsible for how bad the stormtroopers are at shooting?
Yes.
I'm like, I love that. That's my new headcanon.
If Gregor was better at his job and
Yes.
more committed to the mission, stormtroopers would be more lethal.
Right? I guess you can like the domino effect, where like if Gregor had trained these new recruits, properly, and then those guys would train stormtroopers of the future, like, is the original trilogy even a thing? Right? Like whenever Luke and Leia are swinging on the Death Star and there's like 6 stormtroopers just point blank missing them. It's like, Can you imagine if like they just got shot right there and plummeted to death, and then that's it. That's the end. But
so
thanks, Greg.
I had a thought surrounding, like, oh crap! I totally lost it, and it was good. We were talking about the Gregor and how. No, I totally lost it. You go.
Oh, man.
Totally lost it. I'll find it.
All right, let me try to remind you. So Gregor is terrible at his job. If he would have been better at his job, then the stormtroopers would have been better
I
shooters.
wanted a moment where, like, I've totally noticed that they take it easy on the clones. Like, obviously, they're not going to go out there and, like, actively murder their brothers. It's definitely been more of, like, a set phasers to stun type situation for the whole season. And I wanted them to, when they kicked off the bucket head, I wanted them to realize, oh, these aren't clones? And I wanted, like, a set phasers to kill. And so they could just beat the shit out of them and just, like,
I'm
go
so
for
glad
the
you mentioned that. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because up to this point, it has made sense. Like, they do not want to hurt their brothers. They know it's not their fault.
It's been in the back of their head.
Right. And even now in this episode, when they find out that these are no longer clones, that these are regular just people, they're still using their stun guns. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, these aren't your homies.
It's like in Civil War, where Scarlet Witch looks at Hawkeye and she's like, "You were pulling your punches."
Yeah,
like they've been pulling their punches like the whole season, and now it's time to let them loose. I wonder if they're gonna pull those punches on Crosshairs, because that's gonna be the moment where, like, it could. I mean, Hunter, I think, could take Crosshairs down on his own if it was full tilt. Let's go toe to toe, mano y mano. But Crosshairs is more gone and is more likely to just pull the trigger than, he's not going to have second guesses like Hunter is. And he's going to look at him not as a mission, but as his brother. And I think that's going to be what we're battling over these next few episodes, is going to be, like, pushing that code to the limits.
Yeah, and you mentioned Crosshair. We might as well get into the very end of the episode where, like we said, Hunter gets captured. The Bad Batch have to escape. And we get this one-on-one with Crosshair and Hunter finally. Like, man, I am so excited for that conversation. Or if they even have a conversation, Crosshair might just leave it completely short and be like, you know what? You're mine. I'm going to go after your brothers. Take it easy. Or are they really going to go at it? Like, I'm curious how that's going to go, because Crosshair, I'm sure, has a lot of built-up anger and animosity towards Hunter because of not only his chip, but just who he is as a person. And I mean, I don't know.
Rampart could set this up like a gladiator stadium. He used to be like, "Hey, fight!"
Yeah,
like, he controls this whole situation, and it's gonna be something where he's gonna say, "Take him out." He's like, "I thought we were gonna turn them." Like, Crosshair is gonna say something to the effect of like, "No, I think it's a better idea if we do what you did to me. I don't know about this whole killing them thing.
Right?
Like, that seems a bit extreme." Oh, now it's extreme, soldier. And it's going to be that moment of really fighting the chip. And it's going to be if the message of the show is willpower and family conquer all, then it's going to have to be Crosshairs fighting that. And like we've said many times on this show, for 14 weeks, Crosshair is going to take that ultimate L for the team.
Yeah, man. I would like to think because we have 2 more episodes that Bad Batch are going to try to infiltrate wherever Hunter's being held, whether it be on a ship or on a base. We've seen that the Bad Batch are very, very good at infiltration. They have no problem breaking into anything.
What
So
if
it
it's
should.
Vader's base from the underwater base
Oh
from
shoot! From
Fallen
Fallen
Order?
Order, that would be tough. That would be very tough. I struggled infiltrating that base quite a few times in my first playthrough,
I
for
I
being
had no
honest.
problem getting out of there unconscious.
But what I
Thanks,
mean
Darth Julius.
is that the Bad Batch are going to make it onto the shuttle, and they're gonna have a trap set for them. And the last episode before the finale is going to be the Bad Batch together have to escape wherever they're being kept, or which would be crazy. What if they try to get Hunter's? Oh wait, never mind. Take it. Hunter's chip got removed. Never mind. I can't think. I was thinking maybe that would be interesting if they try to get Hunter's chip to like
Right.
go to where Crosshair is, but that obviously can't happen. So never mind. I really think
Do
though
they know that though?
they don't. They don't know that. So that'll be again an interesting
Could be a
conversation.
double cross where they show up and the first time Hunter sees them again, he's like playing the game and
Yeah,
he turns at the last second. There could be some. It's set up for some cool double trickery crossover stuff.
I wonder how Crosshair is going to take the news about the chip, right? Like Hunter has to be the one to tell him, like, hey, it's not you, man, it's not you, like it's the chip. How's Crosshair going to react to that? Is he going to believe him? Is he going to be one of those where like I don't believe you, and then he like storms off and then like sits in his little dorm and is just like pondering like and reminiscing the fun times with his brothers kind of a thing, and then he realizes like, oh my god, he's right, I gotta get this chip out, and then we see the redemption of Crosshair. I could see it playing out that way. It's a little predictable, but it's Star Wars. These things are kind of predictable at times, but it doesn't take away from how it affects us as fans.
Nope. I'm good, bro. I'm just ready for these last 2 episodes,
Yeah,
man.
it's gonna be a lot of fun. Well, I will ask you: would you rather have an hour finale or have these last 2 episodes be separated by
I think
a
it's
couple
gonna
weeks?
be one's gonna be 25, and then the other one's probably gonna be the last episode is probably gonna be like 38 minutes.
Okay, yeah, I could rock with that. I
Or
think
42, and they're like, hey, it's like an old Disney XD two-parter of Rebels.
right. If it's like that, I'm not gonna be mad because we're getting more episode as a whole. But I honestly really prefer the 1 hour finale instead
Yeah.
of the two-part, if that makes sense.
Not against it. Not against it.
Man, we are almost done with this show, which is crazy to think about. So I feel like we just started this show. Like
Right.
we started around the same time, and now we're starting to wrap up with Bad Batch, and then we're going to get into some great other discussions in the future in between the Bad Batch release and Book of Boba Fett, which is also coming right around the corner.
Visions.
Very excited about that. Visions will have it drop in September, which is about a month and a half away now. So we will have a big full discussion about that entire show, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it. So stick around for that. But me and Colin have been talking, off camera about the plans that we have for this show and discussions we want to have and fun little activities we want to do with the show. Like, because we can't just talk about TV episodes every single time because there's going to be times where there's not a show airing or a movie that's coming up. So we got to fill in, these shows, and we got a lot of cool stuff planned. So make sure you guys stick around for that. But Colin, unless you have anything else you want to add to this discussion, we'll go ahead and wrap up.
Nah, yeah, I know you can find Chris and Matt over tonight on Schmoey the Money's big hangout for after the Schmodown Collision that just ended. That'll be at the top of the hour. You can find me over on John Roca's YouTube channel at 5 o'clock Eastern tomorrow afternoon doing the Ultimate Schmodown after show where we're also covering the Collision. And then on Monday, you'll have Spin from the Real on here. Big Schmodown weekend. And then Tuesday, we'll have Real Sports. We're covering NBA free agency that starts tomorrow. We got NFL training camps opening back up. Big stuff. We got COVID outbreaks in the league and big trades in Major League Baseball that we'll be covering. Also have Wrestle Real. And we got Real Geek Court as well on Wednesdays. Wrestle Real is on Fridays. And hopefully the return of Really Scared coming back soon.
A lot of good stuff on this channel, something for everyone. So make sure if you're not subscribed that you subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment, do all of the YouTube things that you're supposed to do. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next week. May the force be with you always.